Prepping to do the live stream. At least they're thinking about it. Okay, live stream. Oh, hold on. Gotta hit share, share, sound. And I'm playing this in. Here we go.
Nice.
Welcome to Earl and the Idiot, the show that gives you the answers you need to take your business to the next level. With Earl Flormata, one of Vancouver's most sought-after business and marketing consultants, author of Business Engine Optimization, consultant to over 60 successful businesses, an all-around evil marketing genius with a combined total of more than $70 million worth of sales to his credit. And some idiot. Okay, here we go.
Somebody with a ukulele. I actually did figure out that that's kind of sounds like the intro, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I can't hear it because it's got the noise blocking on.
Oh, well, just trust me, I nailed it.
Okay, I believe you. So I was looking on the internet the other day and I saw this like practice guitar and it was just the neck and the strings and the little tiny strummy thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, huh, but does it actually make sound?
Well, it could do it electronically,
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
right? You could set that up so it would it was basically like a keyboard operated with strings.
Oh
And
yeah,
it
that makes
creates
sense. I've
creates an
always wanted to
electronic
learn
sound.
guitar, but yeah, I don't want to have a giant full-fledged one kicking around all the time. So the little mini guy for practicing sounds good.
Yeah. There's a few little guitars for practicing. We can talk about that later. I can talk endlessly about
Sounds
guitar, obviously.
sounds good.
Got
Awesome.
like 30 years worth of guitar
So,
experience under my belt.
now you have a toque happening. So maybe I kind of feel left out and I should wear a toque or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I'm wearing my toque because it's too early in the morning for me to have done anything to my hair. It's a little
Oh,
bit.
it's really cold here. So you know what? You know what? Screw it.
Oh, yeah, toque it up.
Screw it. Yep. So I
Oops.
knock off my glasses and put on the toque. The old Avengers toque. There
Oh,
we
yeah.
go. So
Nice.
this is a toque show.
It's a toque show. I'm gonna bring it down.
We're extra Canadian today.
Well, should we do this one? You know, some guys wear their toques like that.
I can't, otherwise my glasses will fall off.
Oh
So
yeah. All right. So you're on your 100 events in 100 days thing.
yeah, I'm on event number 9 or 10 now, I think, something like that.
In how many days?
So, 7
Okay.
so
You're
far.
banking some.
So, well, because I can't go to events necessarily on the weekends because that's family time, right? So I gotta make it up for it for the weekdays. So I gotta nail all 5 minimum on the 5 days. But it's gonna start ramping up soon because I'm gonna start attending all of the BNIs. I'm gonna start attending all the Toastmasters. I'm gonna start attending all of these, the bigger, brand name style events. Because I can't do just custom events the entire time because they're all at the same friggin' time. So, you know, yeah, 100 events, 100 days, and then we're going to launch F Up Nights.
Right. That's F Up Nights isn't even part of the 100 days.
It's going to be event 101.
Nice. Wow.
So,
You're an animal.
super simple campaign. Go to 100 events, shake 3 to 5 hands, get 3 to 5 business cards. I now have a database of 3 to 500. I only have 100 and whatever seats to fill, 180, I think,
Mhm.
for F Up Nights. So this is the organic outreach model.
Nice.
People. Plus, I get to have coffee with cool people and connect with them after the fact. So I
Yeah,
get to meet.
these events are fun. I like meeting people.
I got to reconnect with this guy named Miro, and he's the guy who runs the fancy drone shows here in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah.
He's the drone dude. I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome. So one of the networking events, I reconnected with him. The last time I met him, he was too busy setting up the drone, so we didn't really get to exchange contact information. This time we did, and so now we're gonna go have coffee, and we're gonna go to. Funny enough, he's a foodie too, so now we're trading inside information on croissants. So
Have you tried the? I'm sure you have the Ukrainian cube croissant.
yes, the one
Oh.
from that place has like the best one pierogi and the best. I don't like what's it called, like a sausage roll. I don't like them, but
Okay.
these guys, it's the only place I like them. So yes, absolutely. So yes,
What's it
I
called?
tried that one.
Cossack? Is it Cossack?
Yeah, yeah, and it has they had it's weird because I'm Filipino and we like this thing called ube. It's a purple thing, and so they had ube square croissants at their place, and so we lost our damn minds. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I like the pistachio myself.
Yeah.
We got one each, and then quickly realized you should share them. They're nuts.
Yes. No, they're
Mhm.
massive. They're as big as my head,
Yeah.
right? So yeah.
We ate
So
half of
so
them, put the other halves in the fridge, and we're just sort of picking bits off them for like 3 days afterwards.
pretty much. Well, you should try the ones from Shea Christoph. Shea Christoph.
Yeah.
I got to meet the gal who invented it
Hmm.
and had lunch with her because of these networking events.
There you go. Is that the one on Broadway? There's one on Broadway that claims to have the best croissants in town.
No, this one was on Hastings in North Burnaby. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So
Oh,
you get business advice and croissant advice on our show.
croissant. I think I know that one. Um, anyway,
We
moving
digress.
on.
Welcome to
Um,
the Took Show, and
welcome to
yeah,
the Took Show.
and croissants.
Tukes and croissants. That's Earl and the Idiot presents Tukes and croissants. Um, so yeah, this is Earl and the Idiot show. You heard from the intro. We've got Earl here, who is full of all kinds of business wisdom, keeps it all under his toque, and I'm here to ask stupid questions to get him to tell us his smart answers. Because if you're afraid to ask the dumb questions, you'll never become the smart Earl, so to speak. So the format of the show is we actually get Chat GPT to lay out points. We pick a subject based on all the people you're meeting, right? That's how we start.
Pretty much. So I go look at my schedule and I figure out what are the things that people have asked me throughout the week. And then yeah, as I just pick and choose them and I throw them in a pile for you and you get to pick.
I pick whichever one I secretly want to learn to use to help my clients.
Also, yes.
Yeah. Um, and then yes, we plug that into ChatGPT, and it spits out a layout for us. Then we go over that, and we just sort of pick it apart and say we agree, say we don't agree, come up with our own ideas. It
Mhm.
makes for very compelling podcasting, if I do say so myself. Oh yeah, and I always choose a background each week based on what the subject is, so that when you're looking for the episode later, you can remember that crazy background. Now this week I had Chat GPT make my background instead of Midjourney, and I definitely realized that Midjourney kicks the snot out of Chat GPT as far as image generation goes. I guess they use DALL-E too.
Yeah.
I could not get it for the life of me to make a realistic looking picture. They always look cartoony like this guy.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I just find Dali not as strong.
yeah,
So yeah.
it's like with all their it even calls it a fake background, sort of. But God, with all the investment that must be flowing into ChatGPT, you'd think they could make a workable image model. Like, what's Midjourney doing that ChatGPT isn't?
There's a bunch of new image generating ones that are just kind of, better. So yeah, I don't know. But GPT is my favorite still versus like Claude and everything else, like comparatively speaking.
Yeah. The only thing I'm scared of is model collapse, where the AI images start feeding on AI images, and it
Right. And
consumes its own
the
tail.
copy that doesn't shine so bright.
Yeah.
So
Before we start, or maybe you can read off the premise for today. I'm just gonna get a drink. I'm a little thirsty here. I'm not gonna talk the whole time, but I'm listening. But just go ahead.
all right. So the premise the premise of the show or the premise of the prompt. I'm not
With the
sure what.
prompt, what's today's prompt?
Today's prompt. Okay, cool. So today's prompt was I need help with another episode of Earl and the Idiot, acting as a marketing expert. Give examples on how to generate messages to promote the company, but aren't overly salesy, hence the crazy salesman background. Give 3 examples of how to do this, 2 things to avoid, and 1 red hot tip to accomplish this. And it's started giving us a bunch of stuff, which I will leave for Dan as he gets his
Can
drink and returns.
you hear
So,
me? Can you hear me pouring, or does the noise canceling keep that out?
I heard the gulp, but that's about it.
Mhm.
I didn't hear if you're pouring and making pouring sounds. No.
And we're back.
Oh, all right.
All right. Yes. So we don't want to be this guy.
Yeah.
No.
Super
Can you
sales.
imagine going into
Super
a car
sales.
dealership and this guy comes up to you?
I would just run the other way.
Yeah. So we want to sell. Nobody wants to talk to a salesman, but everybody wants to
Buy
sell.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone wants to buy something. Everyone wants to speak to an expert, but that'll probably come up in the course of this. So the question is, how do we sell without sounding salesy?
Hmm.
Um, three examples of non. So yeah, this format's excuse me, format's a little different. So this is three examples of non-salesy promotional messaging.
Hmm.
Number one is tell a story that educates and inspires. Example, last year we helped a small accounting firm go from 30K to 300K in earnings by optimizing their processes and strategy. The best part, they finally got to take a vacation after years of nonstop work. If you're struggling to scale, sometimes it's about working smarter, not harder. Why it works. This type of content highlights your expertise while being relatable. It plants the idea that your company provides solutions without directly pushing a sale. Earl.
Well, it's stories sell. It
Mhm.
always has been, right? The psychological order of operations for making a sale is emotion, then logic. We all think that we might be logical, but it's the emotion that starts the fire. It's the emotion that starts the process. And then what happens is that humans like being right. And since we like being right, that's when you follow it up with logic. You don't come running with logic first. First, you pull in the emotion goes, well, I want this. And then you pull in the logic that says, and these are the reasons why you are correct. And
Mhm.
so if you do it in that order, so telling a story that educates and inspires, absolutely. And the funny thing is, it also works for relationships. Okay. So you're going to pick up a girl at the bar, you tell a story. The story reveals character insights about you and shows them that, hey, this is what we're looking for, blah, 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 blah. Is this a fit or not? And stories sell. So you tell the stories and the funny, the funny emotional tie that goes with the story. Then the logic that kicks it up afterwards. Again, whether you're selling a shoe or yourself, right at the bar, it's all the same thing. You tell the stories. That's how you get to know each other too, right? Like I mean, that's you meet a stranger. What do? You share stories, right?
Mhm.
This is every relationship you've ever made. This is every friend you've ever made. And this is also every sale that you've made that doesn't have a lot of friction. So.
You know what? I think when you talk about, the emotion, starting with emotion and doing logic afterwards,
Mhm.
I think this camera thing again, where it's like I got to stay exactly in the right spot or the color goes
Otherwise,
all
you look
weird.
like a Simpson. Yeah.
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 Um,
You're embarrassed when you go to the side.
yeah, yeah.
Turn
Okay. So
over.
if during the show I get embarrassed, I'll just move over here to convey my
Yes.
emotions.
Or shame.
Uh, yeah, exactly. It's like it feels like the mute. You should hear the music go, like
Mm.
turn into a minor key.
Or like a sad trombone sound.
That trombone. Yeah, exactly. Um, when I was a kid, the most important thing in the world to me was that I got a super soaker.
Hmm.
If you're the same generation more or less as me,
Yep. I
but
have
the
a
original
terrible
super
Super
soaker.
Soaker story, but I can't tell it on air. So
Okay,
one of these
we'll get
days
to
we'll
it.
go for coffee and I'll tell you the Super Soaker story, but I can't tell
Yeah.
it on air. So.
So the original super soaker drops, and the commercial was this kid, this sort of nerdy kid, is walking down the street or through a park or whatever, and these
Mhm.
bullies come out, and they got little squirt guns, the old fashioned ones where you squeeze the trigger to spray, and they spray the kid. The
Yep.
kid's like, no. And then he goes home and he gets a super soaker and he puts on like a leather jacket and shades and goes
Oh my
back to the
god.
park and pumps this thing up. It's just like, and all the bullies go running, and the bullies like, "Oh no, you got me!" And they go running.
No,
And
no. As a
mm,
child, when they came up with the Super Soaker 200, the one with the
mm,
backpack, and you
mhm.
didn't pull the trigger, you pulled this thing that basically made it
Yeah,
like a. And if you shot someone in the face, they couldn't breathe. So yeah, that worked real good during our water fights. Not that
yeah,
I ever did that ever.
but right. But this, seeing that the emotion there, as a little kid who would get bullied or whatever, you'd be like, "Oh, I can finally show those bullies," not ever thinking the logic through of you spray a bully with a super soaker, he's gonna be like, come beat you up afterwards.
He'll
He's not.
take it from you and then shoot you, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, exactly. He's going to steal it from me, and he's not going to run away ashamed and chastened that someone sprayed him worse than he sprayed me. But so the logic never entered into it. It was pure emotion, and I think I saved up, and I finally got this thing, and it's like, and you're like, oh, that's
But
that's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I mean,
yeah,
it's great as water guns go. It's great, obviously, but it didn't have the same emotional impact of the advertising messages. But there you go. They told a story, bringing it back
yep.
to something that has to do with what we're talking about. They told a
So
story. Poor kid bullied, gets super soaker, defeats bullies.
yes,
Mhm.
it's the hero's journey story, literally the hero's journey story. So yeah, they totally did that.
Exactly. And I guess at this point I'm a little bit skeptical about the like, oh, we got this accounting firm to go from this to this or whatever. It's like you always see these. There's always ads for like side hustles. Oh, here's the latest side hustle. I'm making $30,000 a month doing this side hustle, and I'm like, are you though? I get a little skeptical, but if it's a real story, if it's legitimate, like, oh my God, yeah, I had a guy in here like you, like just like that last week, and he's here's his stats, here's this graph of his SEO or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the funny thing is, I literally did help an accounting firm go from 30 to 300,000.
I believe
And
you.
well, because the issue was he didn't have systems. He built the systems, and then everyone can sell it, right? And that was it. Like this, there's no sex appeal to this story at all. It's the most boring story I've got, right? He didn't
Mhm.
have systems. He built systems. Now every freaking staff member can sell. Ta-da! Oh look, you just 10x your sales force. It's not sexy. It's just numbers, right? And you don't get much more unsexy than accounting plus numbers plus sales using numbers, right? Yay!
Yeah, good times. Here's a videographer joke that no one's gonna get. When the weave of your sweater is too close together, that's a moire.
That's great.
You know what that means? You get the
Yeah, I
yeah.
follow.
All right, that's MOIRE if you want to look up what that joke means. Um, all right, here's number two. Share actionable tips or insights. I like this one. Example, did you know most small businesses can increase profits by 30% just by following up with past customers? We've seen this simple strategy turn around stagnant sales. What's your go-to follow-up system? Wink, wink, you don't have one. Why it
Yeah.
works, offering free, actionable advice builds trust and positions you as an authority without, excuse me, being pushy. Ending with a question also invites engagement, also points out that they're not doing it.
Yeah, we have this audit thing that we do that after you're done, you're crying because you don't do like a million things.
Mm,
And same kind of idea, you know. One of my mentors just asked me to redo an example. And the example is we take a nice easy round number, 100,000 with a 30% margin and a 10% net profit at the end. So, they make $100,000, they get to keep 10K at the end of it, at the end of it all. Cool. Nice, simple business. If you increase sales by 5.5% and you reduce costs by 5%, you double the take home. The profit doubles. It goes from 10K, 20K. Again, not super sexy, simple examples. And when you show
mhm.
people with their own numbers, with their own stuff, and you just plug it into the same calculator, like, whoa, because then they see it and they see the bank account roll and they see all the stuff, right? So, sharing actionable tips or insights, and they don't have to be earth shattering, groundbreaking everything. Do you have a birthday referral program? Yes or no? Cool. Let's make one, right? If we hit 1% of your audience, how much does your business grow by? Oh, holy crap. Really? Is that the number? Yep. Let's go do boring birthday stuff. So,
Yeah, right on. And this is kind of what I was getting at the beginning of this was the idea nobody wants to talk to a salesperson, but everyone wants to talk to an expert.
mhm,
So when
definitely.
you give out a little piece of useful information that hits them right between the eyes, they go, "Oh, this guy's clearly an expert. I would like to speak to him or her."
Speaking of which, what I'm going to do is I actually compiled a giant list of birthday freebies in Vancouver. I know we talked about this last year, but I
Yeah,
never
yeah.
did. So I actually have this giant list of birthday freebies. I'm going to sign up for all of them myself. And on my
Mhm.
birthday, I'm just going to run around and collect them all and turn that into a piece of content, a giant piece of content, which then I will then assess all of the companies that actually did it and see if they just did the birthday thing or they actually followed up or they did this, that, and everything else. And I will give them a grade, right? Just like every, good Asian person, I will grade very harshly,
Yeah.
right? And, be the dragon dad. And, it's like, yo, man, you didn't follow up. You gave me some birthday crap. I took it and ran like hell. And you didn't follow up with nothing. Shame on you.
Mhm.
Bad
Never heard back
business.
from you.
Bad dog. So there you go.
Hey, your A is upside down, right?
I know it's weird
Yeah.
because when if I do this, then my toque looks funny. I don't know. I don't like it without the foldy
Yeah.
thing.
Well, can you
So
just turn the whole thing inside out?
yeah, but then it doesn't really show up as good. Then you see all the threading and it's weird on the back.
Yeah. All right.
So well, okay, well clearly I will wear it the weird way with the
You
A
choose to wear it
properly
that way
then.
around? All right, fine.
So
I hear you. No, but I do that too. I got mine folded up, so I
yeah,
just
yeah,
put my
I
logo
wear it
on
like folded up because my head is not that big.
it.
So
No one's head is that big.
I know. So there you go.
Yeah. I'll
You know
wear
what?
mine.
Screw it. I'm comfortable this way. Upside down A it is.
Yeah, there you go. There. How's that look? Is that better?
There you go.
That's a screenshot right there.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a promotional
Click.
screenshot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. I
Um,
will do that later. Anyway,
okay. So I guess some people probably might worry, they might object to this on like, well, I don't want to give away the tips. I want to sell them the tips.
yeah, but here's the thing. We live in an information age. It's information overload,
Mhm.
right? Nobody's paying for information anymore. You could literally find all the information you've ever wanted in the entire world on YouTube. How to tie a tie, how to light a bulb, how to do this, how to sell this, how to make a marketing campaign. There's free shit everywhere all day long, right? So what people are paying for is number one, the trust in you to execute and get it done. So nobody wants to quote unquote do it themselves anymore. Everybody wants to be either done with you or done for you, right?
Mhm.
So people are paying for the execution, right? I mean, you could teach people how to make websites till they're blue in the face. Is anyone going to want to make web? No, Dan, do it for me. Here's a sack of money, and
Yeah.
you will gladly take sack of money, right? And
Mhm.
so, and that's just the way it is. So you give away the information because information in the information age is now worth less. It's not worthless, but it's worth less.
Yeah.
So you have to give it away to prove that you're not, terrible at your job. But then they go, you know what? That sounds awesome. Can you do it for me?
Yeah.
What's
I
your
and
rate, sir?
yeah, I always say that my sales strategy, when I
Mhm.
sit down with someone, I give them a 1 hour, I call it a consultation. I make it my job. I make it my goal to give them enough information and make sure they understand that information in that meeting that they could go away and do it themselves.
Mhm.
I hold back nothing. I say, here's this how this thing works. You use this tool, you use that tool. You do it this often. You blah blah blah. I explained to them everything that if they took that information, they could spend the next 2 3 weeks figuring out how to use all the tools and do it all themselves and never call me again. That's how I try to sell them. At the end of that, they're like, "Oh, well, that all sounds great. Can you do it? How much
Mhm.
for that?"
Yeah, because nobody wants to do it themselves,
Yeah.
right?
And like you say, if anybody wants the info's there.
Mhm. It's all it's all literally there.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. What is next? Celebrate success. Number three. This is number three rule to do some salesy stuff that doesn't sound salesy. Celebrate success, yours and your clients. Example, we just wrapped up a project with a roofing company that doubled their leads within 60 days. Seeing them thrive reminds us why we do what we do. How do you celebrate wins in your business? Why it works. Highlighting success is compelling, but framing it as a celebration keeps the tone positive and non promotional. Inviting the audience to share their experiences creates a two-way conversation.
yeah. So celebrating the small wins, every single one of them, even the little guys, like even the tiny ones, right? Because here's what happens in your brain: what gets rewarded gets repeated. What gets rewarded gets repeated, and it's a couple of things. Number one, behavioral analysis from behavior going towards belief, right? It is predicated on your action step.
Hmm.
So it's the same process by which people said, you know what? Even if you're sad, if you smile and keep smiling and keep smiling, your brain goes, well, he's smiling. Here's some dopamine, right? So he's got to be happy. Give him some more of this. And
Yeah.
so it's the behavior that affects all the stuff. And that's the only thing that you have access to. You can't change the belief. You can't change, the lens by which you see it. You can't see all these other architectures. The only thing that you can touch is the behavioral part. So yeah, celebrate the success, because celebrating success, one, it fools you into being happy more of the time than not, right?
Mhm.
So because of that, it keeps you in a positive nature. Because it keeps you in a positive nature, more people are akin to approach you because you look like a happy person, and you look like, do you really want to address and hang out with the grumpy guy who hates everything and your face and the world and
Mhm.
everything? Yeah, that's not a fun person to hang out with,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, definitely celebrating success. It also is a nice way to do case studies without, saying how great you are, right?
Yeah,
So
that was gonna be my question. So I get how it makes you feel better about yourself and triggers the reward centers or whatever it is.
mhm.
Um, but
For the
how does
rest of
it
the people,
yeah, how
like,
does it play as content? Do people go, oh wow, that's so great, or
because it
they're
gives
like,
them
oh,
hope,
hmm,
right? The other big emotion for sales is hope, right? So there's a really cool book called The Psychology of Money. And he talks about the questions: why do poor people, specifically poor people, buy way more lottery tickets
hmm,
than rich people, right? And Here's the thing: the rich people understand just the same as the poor people. The poor people are not dumb; they just don't have a bunch of money, right? And so they know psychologically that the chances of this are smaller than being struck by lightning 3 times in a row, whilst dancing in the rain.
Mhm.
So they know it's small, but the difference is that the rich guy doesn't need as much hope. He's already doing all right. Even the middle class guy doesn't need as much hope. The poor
Yeah.
guy, you look at their debt, you look at everything is growing, you look at everything is moving at an incredible pace that they'll never be able to catch up with their payments. Never. That lottery ticket buys them that hope, right? And so you're asking, what do people want? People want hope, right? They want this hope that their business will do well. They want to hope that they can take care of their family. They hope that they can take care of their staff. And the celebrating the successes shows them that someone else was successful in their space. And now they believe, you know what? I think I can do it too. And that's it.
All I'm hearing is start a lottery company.
Which I am, by the way, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh,
So,
you're always starting something.
so
All right. So here, let's go on to two things to avoid. So this is what you shouldn't do.
mhm,
Something you shouldn't do when you're not trying to sound salesy. Double
mhm.
negative. One, overloading you with features instead of benefits. Avoid creating messages like we offer AI integration, CRM optimization, and multi-channel support for all industries. Why? It's too technical and fails to show how these features solve problems or make life better for your audience.
Oh my God. So one of our colleagues, will remain unnamed because I make fun of him already enough in person.
Okay.
Um, on a scale of 1 to 10 for sales, I gave him a solid -3 because it was the worst pitch I've ever seen. And what he did is exactly this. He literally filled the entire pitch with technical jargon, and it was just all pure technical bullshit. And if you didn't know a thing about this thing, you'd be like, "What the heck?" Okay, I need a translator. I think you're speaking English, but no. And if
Do
you
I know
just
this
keep,
person?
yes, you do. You know exactly what I'm making fun of.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and so, and it was terrible. Like it was the worst, hands down, worst pitch I've ever heard in my entire life. It was pretty bad, right? Now the guy is suave and debonair. He puts on a suit, looks great, and crushes it. I think last month he did $2 million worth of sales. So like that was a far cry from -3 out of 10. And so yeah, definitely don't use abbreviations. Don't
Yeah.
use any jargon. Don't use anything that somebody in your industry wouldn't know without looking up, because not only does it make them feel stupid because they don't know what you're talking about,
Mhm.
right? It now deters them from wanting to talk to you further because now you're going to say another alphabet word, right? They're like,
Yeah.
right? And this is how come financial planners, everyone just runs the hell away from them. TFSA, RRSP, 401k. And they're like, the hell are all those things? And yeah, if you use all these terminologies, you think that you're sounding smart and educated about your space, but you are not. Yes, you are smart and educated about your space, but the people you're talking to are not. And so you're making them feel dumb. And if you make them feel dumb, they sure as hell ain't going to buy shit from you.
I think that it's some people see it as a tactic to overwhelm with jargon to make yourself sound smart.
Yeah, but that
Like
was an
because
old school technique called baffle them with bullshit, right?
Mhm.
And that worked in the day and age prior to the internet. Because you would baffle people with bullshit, they'd be go, "Oh wow, this is really hard. That guy sounds real smart. Let's buy shit from him." Where you're now one Chat GPT or one Google or one artificial intelligence AI Siri anything away, Alexa, from finding out the answer, right? And so you can't baffle people with bullshit anymore. It doesn't work as well as it used to, and neither should it, right? Because it's a manipulative sales tactic.
Yeah. I also one of my favorite authors, Kurt Vonnegut. He always said that any scientist who can't explain what he's doing to a 10-year-old is a fraud.
Yes.
And it's like that. It's like if you're really smart, you can explain it simply.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
All right. This is interesting. I've never heard this before. Too many calls to action. A call to action obviously is something that encourages people. Oh, download this.
Do this
Da-
thing.
do this thing. Download this. Contact us. Ask us for this. But there's a problem with too many, eh? Which I've always I've subscribed to that because I just think I generally like to keep things simpler. But I
So
never heard it before.
let me kind of quantify that,
Okay.
right? So there is no such thing as too many calls to action as long as the call to action is the same.
Hmm.
So you can have a long form sales page, and every couple of scrolls, there's a button that says, "Hey, you want it yet? Click this. Hey, you want it yet? Click this." That is fine
Yeah.
because people are reading through and then they need to be kind of jostled out of their little dreamlike state to go, "Hey, do you actually want this? Or are you just reading for the sake of reading? Or are you just researching?" Totally cool if you're reading for the sake of reading and researching. But if you actually want it, here's the button that makes your life easier, right? So you can do that. But, and I'm going to name names here and throw Toyota under the
Uh-oh.
bus. Toyota screwed up one day. And I saw their landing page and they literally had 5, 6, 7 different calls to action
Hmm.
on the landing page. I'm like, dude, on the landing page, you have one, right?
Yeah.
And so they had this landing page. I can't even remember what it was for anymore, but I remember having it in a presentation before. And I brought it up, and it was the Toyota page at the time. So people are like, "Hey, is this real?" Like, Google it right the hell now. Go to Toyota, click on this, click on this, click on this, and look at this. And they're like, "Oh wow!" And the damn thing had 5 different calls to action, right? And when I was talking to the marketing manager at Toyota at the time, they're like, "Yeah, this has been our worst performing page ever." I'm like, "It's because you made them pick too many things, man." Right.
Mhm.
And then I know I tell this story a lot, but it's one of my favorite stories, right? I like the people watch, right? And I like watching them in confusion because it's hilarious to me. So you watch people buy ketchup, then you watch
Oh
people
yeah.
buy mustard, and it's a very different story. Ketchup guy, there's no name, brand name, maybe some spicy one, maybe some weird Asian one that tastes like banana, but that's it. They grab the one they want, they walk out, right? Now mustard has a freaking like row upon row, and like this is one that has seeds, and this one is spicy, and this one's great
Yeah.
fun. I'm like,
Dijon.
right, exactly, and I'm like, and so the number of people who FaceTime in the mustard aisle is infinitely greater than the number of people who FaceTime in the ketchup aisle for a reason. So you have too many calls to actions. The moment you give people too much choice, right? You might believe that they're giving them freedom of movement. Here's all the information in one go. You can't give that many things in one go. People go into overwhelm
Yeah.
all the time.
And also, if you're faced with a choice,
Mm-hmm.
you can choose this thing or this thing. But if you have no way to determine which one of those is the better option, you won't make a choice.
Yeah,
You got to
you
be able
walk
to
away.
pick between the two of them. So if you have too many choices, they go, I don't know which one I'm supposed to do, and you walk away. If there's one big red button says, interested, contact us.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty clear what to do. You don't have to make a decision. You just have to
That's right.
contact.
Sales online is not super, super difficult. This is who we are. This is what we're about. This is what we have to offer. These are the problems we solve. Is that you? Cool. Want to buy it? That's it.
Yeah.
So,
You know how at the end of the month, I don't know if
mhm.
you have iPhones, so I don't know if you have Google, but with Google, it goes, here's your month in review, and it gives you a bunch of here's the photos that were most interesting to you this
Mhm.
month. There's always at least one or two of them that are photos I take in the grocery store of a shelf and send it back to my girlfriend, going, which one of these am I supposed to get?
So the other day, my wife sent me to the store to buy feminine hygiene product.
Oh dear.
That was an exercise in futility. She's like,
Yeah.
this one. I'm like, oh, they all look the same. And so I did it. I busted open FaceTime and said, how about this one? How about this one? How about this one?
Mm.
And it made the process so much easier on FaceTime because they're all, I mean, I'm a dude. I don't know the freaking difference, right? One of them has wings. Okay. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I had it like my girlfriend had the same thing. She wrote down all the specifications. I'm like, okay, cool. I get this, and this. She wrote it all down, and I get there, and in that specification, there was two, like, do you want 24 or 48? Like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Too
So I
many
still had to
things. Too
text
many
her.
things.
Yeah,
Turn on the face call. Yo, man, which one?
yeah,
Right. Yeah. And that's it. So that's too many calls to action. Too many calls to action, too many choices, too many anything. Right. Um, yeah, that's really it.
but
But
like good.
if you interdisperse, hey, do you want it throughout different paragraphs of stuff and videos and pictures and images, it reminds them that they have the option to purchase the solution once they've received enough information.
Right.
So
So they can have lots of options to do the thing you want them to do, just not lots of options to pick from as to what to do
yes.
next.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense.
All right.
All right. Here's what ChatGPT figures is a red hot tip for summing this up for not sounding salesy
Mhm.
in your sales pitches. Use the 80-20 rule for value versus promotion. Excuse me. Make 80% of your content purely educational, entertaining, or inspiring and reserve only 20% for direct promotional messaging. This builds trust and makes your audience more receptive when you do ask for a sale. Example, post a video breaking down a common business mistake and how to fix it. End with a simple, soft CTA. If this resonates with you and you want to dig deeper, let's chat about your business goals. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yep.
You ever hear about that kid? Somebody who said he was putting his kid to bed, and as he was saying goodnight to his kid said, "Don't forget to like and subscribe," because he thought that's how
That's,
you say goodbye.
oh my God, that's hilarious.
Right? Right? Horrifying. Anyway, sorry. Digression. 80-20 rule, value to promotion.
Yeah, that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Definitely fair.
20% almost seems high even for the way things are now.
It depends on how you do it. Because I'm actually aggressive. On emails, I'm 25%.
Okay.
So it depends, right? It depends on the medium. So email, you can go a little more aggressive, 25, 30-ish percent. On social media, it depends on the nature of the social media, right? Because if you're doing it on like an Instagram type of thing or like a TikTok, if it, it's unbanned, it's back, it's unbanned, it's back. But 80-20 is good. 90-10 if you produce a lot. So it just depends on how often you push too, right? Because if you only publish once a week, 80-20 means you're only publishing a call to action once every couple of months, which is not good. You should be asking for that more often, right? So it's you move the needle and the balance based on the frequency. So if you post a whole lot, then maybe tone down the promotion. But if you don't post the whole whack ton, then 80-20 is good.
Okay. And does it break down along like you're making a single piece of content? Part of that is promotional, or you make a whole promotional piece of content in and amongst your 80%, or should the promotion be in the educational informative content?
The promotion is to pick up the educational content further, right? You don't go for the jugular off the bat. Like you go indirectly. So you show them a bunch of cool stuff. Hey, you know what? We compiled all these things. You want it? And that's a nice, soft, introductory transactional piece, right? Because even giving an email is a transaction, right? You don't have to necessarily break the first dollar to make a transaction. Giving the email is a transaction. So they gave the email, you give them a bunch of value. They love it. And they go, you know what? If this is what you give away for free, I gotta see what's under the cover. I gotta, right? What the hell do you sell? And so, yeah, that's the red hot tip. I agree, 80-20, but it's obviously variable depending on the niche as well, right? So it depends on what you're looking for. Because some stuff you need to push a little harder. Some stuff you need to lay off a little.
So I guess what I was asking was, should you make like an entirely entertainment or entirely informative video, like 8 of those, and then 2 promotional videos, or should you put them
Yeah, you
together?
make eight entertaining and edutaining, right? So you're educating and entertaining at the same time. And that's 4 edutainment videos followed by 1 promo, and then 4 more edutainment videos followed by 1 promo, and then figure out whatever cadence works for you.
Okay. But the 80-20 is not necessarily a hard and fast rule, just gives you
It's not a hard fast rule. I
guideline.
agree with it as a good starting point to start testing. And then if you want to go a little more aggressive, move up to 25, see how that works. If you want to go a little less aggressive, drop to 15 and see if that works. Just realizing that you have to move the needle based on how many times you post, right? If you post like a bajillion times a day, like in crypto space, then, you have to do some promo, some not so much.
All right. Here we go with our next part of the show.
Here we go.
Hack of the week.
Hack of the week. I came up with 3 for this one.
Okay.
So the model to follow in your structures, this is the 25% one where we were saying 80-20. I go 75-25. Content, pitch, content. It's the framework to follow. So the first content piece is getting the reader to raise their hand. This is a problem. Is this a problem that you're expecting, or facing? Is this how you feel? Is this what's going on in your life? Yes, 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 yes. Awesome. Then they've subscribed essentially to the offer. Then you've got the next piece of content, which starts to tease in between the problem and solution pair. So the first one is all about the problem and self-identification. Yes, I have that issue. Next one is, okay, cool. There's a problem solution pair kind of happening here, where here's a couple different ways that you can look at solving problem for X. Cool. The third thing is, yo, we actually solved your problem. You want some? Right? My neck hurts. Do you want the pillow or not? All right, cool. And then after you've sold them on the thing, the last piece is the rebuild of the relational part, right? Because every time you pitch, you're spending relationship points. You're cashing those in. So if all you do is pitch, and your relationship points go to zero, they unsubscribe, they leave you, they go, oh, every time I see this guy's freaking channel, all he does is try to sell me shit. And so you don't want that. And so the last piece is the transitional piece to the next campaign. That's it. So that's the content pitch content piece.
Wait, tell me that transitional piece. What are you transitioning to?
Because you're going to email them again, right? You're going to post again on social eventually, right? You're going to do other stuff and offer different things, right? That's the transitional, that last piece of content is the transition from their current mindset to what we're going to talk about next, where you start introducing the idea of whatever the next problem is. And then they put their hand back up again. It's a wonderful vicious virtual cycle. So virtuous cycle. The next one's called the ask method. Ask method model for the hack of the week for a non-salesy sales approach. It's just asking your customers, hey man, what grinds your gears? What pisses you off? What's your 3 biggest problems in your life right now? What's your 3 biggest problems in your business right now? Cool, write that down and then start asking them questions around it. So do you mean this? And then and then parrot it. Go back and go, okay, well, so what I understand from the conversation is this is what the issue is. Is that correct? And then once you've got those pieces down, then you reverse everything. Okay, so if you got this and you got this and it did this, that would be amazing, right? Cool. Want to try this? And then that's the ask method, where you literally ask them what they want and then you give it to them. Magic sauce. It's a really good book called The Ask Method. Ryan Levesque is the author. Highly recommended.
I've had that recommended to me many times. I should probably get on it.
There's not that many books I say read cover to cover. This is one of them.
Fair enough.
And then we'll leave you with the last one, the 1 to 10 close model. The 1 to 10 close model is while you're talking to the client, just go, look, I want to take a temperature check here, right? On a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is you hate my face and never want to talk to me ever again. 10 is you're going to trip over yourself to buy stuff. Where are we right now on a scale of 1 to 10? And then whatever they tell you, right? Your answer is real simple. What would it take to get to 10? And then you give it to them. And then once you've given it to them, is that sufficient information to make your decision? That's it. 1 to 10 close, right? And if they say 1, say, I'm sorry for wasting your time. I guess it's not a fit,
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
What if they say something smart ass, like do it for me for free? Because that's what I would say, because I'm a smart ass.
Well, yeah. Then I would ask, what do you do? Cool. Would you do it for free for exposure? I'll give you exposure bucks. And then they're like, well, no, and I don't know. Can you eat exposure bucks? Well, no. Cool. I'm not going to starve to death on exposure bucks. I'm sorry. Right.
Exposure bucks.
Because I'm a consultant, everyone was like, okay, well, we can't afford you, but would you do it for equity? I'm like, no. So, if I wanted to do equity, I would build my own.
Yeah, the number of times I've had clients say, well, as soon as the website's up, this product is going to sell like crazy, so I'll just give you part of the sales. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. No.
I did that a couple times and got burned. I did that one time with a friend of mine that I knew very well, who was a very good businessman. That came out very well for me. Other than that, I got a pretty solid policy of nope.
Pretty much. If you do one of those things, you do it for a good close contact who you trust and has a track record.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't do it. So, and that's it. We hit it before the hour, so that's good.
Yeah, you said you got a hard leave, so we sped along.
Yeah, you bet.
I guess that's everything. We'll just say our goodbyes. You ready to play us out?
I'm ready to play us out.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Earl. Thank you for bringing your nuggets of wisdom to us today. Thank you, ChatGPT, for doing the difficult work for us, making our jobs easier. And thank you, audience, for tuning in. And
thank you, Dan, for being an excellent co-host. And thank you, Dan's brother, for watching one episode and then bailing on us. I'm kidding. So
I'll tell him you called him out.
Alrighty, cool.
Okay.
Let's play us out.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to Earl and the Idiot. We hope you learned something you can take action on this week. For more information or to contact the show, visit earlandtheidiot.com. And until next time, remember what Shakespeare said. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool.
Bye, everybody.